Welcome to Allegedly Higher, where humor, insight, and passion collide with higher education. Hosted by Dr. Erin and Dr. Candice. Join them as they dive into headlines, interview leaders, and challenge norms. From dismantling systems to championing equity, this podcast is your go-to for transforming the ivory tower. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Allegedly Hired. I am your host. Well, somebody is calling me. I'm your host, Dr. Erin.
And I'm Dr.
It'll be a fun podcast, guys. I want my trusty co-host. Yeah. To be consistent, I had to let go of my perfectionism tendencies, and we just gonna give it what it do, and hopefully it's a lesson to everybody. Yeah. Let it be a lesson that if you want to start something, might not be pretty. And the name of my other company is called Gracefully Productive for this reason. It may not look pretty behind the scenes,
right?
But you get it done. It's messy.
One way or the other. In between games on your phone, you get it done.
Yes.
You get it done.
Yes. So if you are new here to Allegedly Hire, welcome. We are a higher ed podcast where we do higher ed news. And I was thinking this morning we did this at the right time because there's no shortage of higher ed news. I was thinking we were going to have something to have to scrape and talk about. But every time we are scrolling, there's a higher ed piece in pop culture on Instagram. Who would have thought it? So we are your guides to get through this crazy maze of academia. So welcome. If you've been listening on YouTube or Spotify and sharing, thank you so much. Even 5 episodes in, we're seeing our numbers increase. So thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you stay tuned for the entire ride. And if you're new, go back and listen to the other episodes so you can catch up on all the mess that's been going on in higher ed and pop culture. It'll make your day go better. Yeah, make your whole day go better. So I hope you're listening to this at your desk in between students. If you are put a fake meeting on your calendar, close the door, get your coffee.
That faculty staff appreciation when you really want a Christmas ham. But go ahead. Yeah, do it all.
That's the perfect time to listen to this podcast. It's why we designed it to be such, so you can have some entertainment, but you're actually working, getting a professional development.
We are professional development. Yes, we are.
Yeah, because you don't have no money to go do professional development conferences, so we're bringing the conferences and the news to you.
To you. Yes.
Yeah, we know it. We know what you've been through. So, what's been going on in your world since we last recorded? This is for y'all. We talk every day, so update the people.
So, okay, busy day, weekend. So Mississippi had some storms last night. So at least Jackson did. So we had some storms. So a lot of people without power. So we're praying for them and make sure that everybody's okay. And if that maybe loss of power is the only problem they have. But today, my grandson's last day of school in Warren, Arkansas. So we have a graduate coming on May 23rd. So we're happy about that. And tomorrow I finish out my church's Girl Power Ministry Awards program. So I'm working on that as well. So yeah, it's going to be a busy weekend. And then there's Mother's Day. Yeah.
Mother's Day.
What about you?
It's been a good week. We're going to say it's been a good week. Productive this morning, which is why I'm struggling. Maybe not you. But I decided to be a retiree this morning and go do some gardening, which I hate. And I'm only doing it because my mama is she's supposed to come. She is coming to my house on Sunday. So I was like, Lord, I gotta get these bushes cut because that's the thing. Yes, she gave me the hedge trimmer. She gifted me a hedge trimmer. So I feel obligated. On top of every time she comes to my house, she was like, you ain't trimmed your hedges? No, Mama. So because it's Mother's Day and I knew she was coming and she'd been to my house 2 weeks ago And she didn't say anything. So I'm like, okay, I got about another 2 weeks before she pop up and she gonna say something
You
again.
had some grace. Mm-hmm.
Because they cut it, my dad cut them all the way down. So I didn't have to worry about it. And it was like, yeah, all you got to do is keep it up and keep them trim. And guess what I did? Nothing. Did not do it all. So the girl who's allergic to outside. Yeah. I'm on all types of allergy medications, steam, everything, just so I can be here. So it's all good. I'm looking forward to the weekend. My church is having a mother-daughter tea tomorrow. And then my mother, who is not picky, she's very simple. All she say, well, I'm good. I'm blessed. God's blessed me. I don't want nothing. And one year she's like, oh, you can give me a paper cutter. I'm not getting you. You can get a paper cutter on your own. I'm just gonna figure out something to get you. Yeah,
I love your mom. She is wonderful.
She sent me and my sister this bag that she wanted. No, it wasn't Gucci or anything like that. That's not the type of what she do. She was like, well, this is just an example of what y'all can get me. And I was like, all right, mama, here's the money. We'll get it. You picked it out. You finally gave us something to get you. You get it. And she didn't even, what you want to eat on Mother's Day? I don't know. I just,
She goes with the flow. When's her birthday?
It's hard.
When's her birthday?
February 7th.
She's Aquarius?
I have no idea. I just know mine. We
gotta find out. She sounds like a Pisces, but that sounds like an Aquarius.
Yeah, she's February 7th. So yeah, that's been my week and my day. So thank God we're here. It's the weekend.
I did have a moment. So I do have to tell you this because I think you'll find this interesting. So my maternal grandmother's father's side, they had this big reunion, right? And so they sent out this newsletter. I don't know these people, so I kind of toss it most of the time. I thumb through it. Oh, that's nice, So this time, they have a newsletter. And this time I open it and I actually thumb through it, and I see one of my former one of my Tougaloo alums, and who's a friend of mine, in the newsletter, and I thought, wait, are we related? So I call her and she's like, girl, Mom, I have been having something. Both of our mothers are deceased, and she said she kept feeling something. She's also a minister. She was feeling something. She was like, she's trying to get, the discernment. And I'm having a recording error. So again, it's a Friday. We don't know what's happening.
I don't see it. Maybe it's on your side. I think we're good here.
Okay. So, okay, now it's doing whatever it is doing. And so she said, and then she got the notification, informed delivery about getting the newsletter. She knew it was tied to the newsletter. And I said, so this is the first time I actually literally stood there in the driveway and thumbed through the newsletter, and I see your face. That's the first face I see, really. Okay. So it's amazing to me. And of course, as soon as I realize it, I can see it, right? I've known this person for years, talked to this person, been in their presence, and now I have like a new relative, so as I'm grappling with, my family getting smaller, here's this new avenue. So I don't know what this means, but it was very surreal to thumb through a newsletter from St. Louis and see somebody who you just talked to last week.
Yeah, we all related.
Yeah, we all related.
We all related. You always say my daddy and your daddy related, but that's not looks or anything else.
And when we find out, I'm telling you, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah. So what's on tap for today?
So as you said, let's lead into here, since you said the discernment piece and minister. Let's go on with our hot topics and address just the first one. So if you are on Instagram or anywhere, you don't even have to be, looking at sermons consistently, know who's who in the Black Christian streets. But So one of my favorite TV pastors that I listen to regularly is Keon Henderson. He just so
Yes,
happens
I
to
like
be
him.
married to Shawnee O'Neal. This is
Uh-huh.
after.
Right.
I just like him. Like whatever he do in his personal life is fine.
Yeah.
So there was a clip that hit. It was hot. It was hot right after church. I'm like, this is so messy. You looking at a sermon and you go and you clip it. I don't even know how fast you can do that. I guess come on YouTube you can do. You looking in the middle at sermon, your Sunday service on the internet,
Mhm.
the internet church, and I'm scrolling and I see he's on the shade room. Not for
Why is
cheating,
that for Kiana
not for
too?
stealing,
No.
not for cheating, stealing, whatever pastors
He
do to
told
make
them.
it on the shade room. He told a lady that was on the praise and worship team to hush doing praise and worship. Now it wasn't like our friend. Why do I always want to call this lady Shirley Murdoch? What's the black lady? What's the black lady, the rude black pastor?
No, Juanita.
I'm sorry, she's a singer too. She used to be on Sunday's Best.
Oh,
She
I
told a
know who you're
lady to
talking
hush
about.
when she was thinking. It was not that. It was not that kind of
No.
situation. He simply, not simply. I understand because I've been looking at him for 5 years. You can get used to people, right?
Right.
So he did it in his own way. You could tell it was a moment in worship, and this is a time where everybody got quiet. I even think the musicians stopped playing, and it was
Mhm.
quiet in the church, and you just hear screaming. Now I know this because
You
I've
know the
heard
voice.
this same scream that I've been hearing for 4
Mhm.
years. Of course, she do this every Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. So I'm like, okay, but then it blew up. It blew up. It blew up. I was like, I'm seeing the comments. Everybody's like, "That's so rude. You trying to tell people you can't worship?" I was like, y'all, this is not it.
Yeah.
And just as I had my initial reaction was just what he said.
Well, I saw a clip. I actually saw people were trying to discredit him and say it was wrong, and then he went on the Tamron Hall show. And what I really enjoyed what he said. He was talking about it. He said, "We've been over this for 4 years. This is performance, not praise." And I think that if I trust, it's kind of, I hate to be all academic about it, but it is about leadership. Because if I trust you and respect you, that if you say to me, you're the leader of this flock, and I trust you to lead me in that way, I've got to know that he has done nothing up until this point that would make me say, okay, now that was a problem. I got to trust that he knows what he's doing. Not blindly, but I have to respect his decisions. And they know, the people in that church, I wish they would come out and say, no, we tired of her too.
Oh, they said it. They said they backed him
Yeah.
up. They backed him up and say she does this every Sunday.
And so that performance, and probably because she knows she's right next to the cameras, that was a problem. But I think
I don't even think it was that. I don't know what it is. I don't want to assume. I don't even think it was performance. I just think I don't even think it was for the camera, right? Because I can recall there was a lady in my home church when I was little. I swear at 11:55, no matter if the preacher was up or not,
she started hollering.
Yes, and clap it. I'm like, even as a kid, I'm like, this ain't even that good, man.
And we
The
also
song
know,
or the sermon, it ain't even like ain't nothing happening. It ain't popped off. Ain't
well,
nothing happening.
we had one like that in my church. We would be like, okay, there she go, 1, 2, 3. We knew we gonna get her. But whatever that season was, she got through it. She's never done it again. Like once she got whatever season that was. But if this is going, and it was always appropriate, because I think, sometimes they want you to get happy, right? Because that's a call and response validation. But when it gets to be so distracting, and you've been told that you are a distraction from the worship experience, then you have to take a beat. It's kind of like you can't scream fire in a crowded room. Yeah, you got free speech to say what you want to say, right? And you have the freedom to praise how you want to praise. But if your rights end where mine begin, and I have the right to lead my flock the way I see fit, as long as it is decent and in order, and I have, someone else has the right not to be standing next to you when you're doing all that screaming and hollering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've been in enough fake and authentic worship settings where everybody's unified. The Spirit of God is in the place. Yeah. And there's been authentic to where everybody's up, and then there's been authentic to where it's just silence. And everybody is doing their own thing. They can hear their own whatever. And that was a moment. And for people to say, oh, well, he just wanted so he could sing. No, he was at that moment, he could sing, but at that moment he became the praise and worship leader. And he has the patience of Job to not pull her down, because my bishop, who's now deceased, God rest his soul, rest in peace.
Yes.
Sit down. But it would have been sat down the first quarter. He would have did all of that, but he would have sat down and sit down. We not doing this stuff here. This is not
not today.
Not playtime
not today.
So he had the patience of Job to say, he had, for her to still be on praise and worship
after 4 years. Now that's the thing. After 4 years, when I saw all of the strong Black men come out, get her. I can't do that.
Not this Sunday. Not this Sunday. Not you the only one calling in here.
Right, you the only one. I can't do this today. I mean, we all get to that point, but I think even rightfully so that they've tried to work with her, and she has defied that time and time again. And if you are listening on the internet, right, and you know the voice because you know she's coming, then that's a real problem. Yeah. You as someone who is not at that church already knows that woman's voice. That's a problem. She's a problem.
Yeah. Yep. So I like him. He's a really, like, he is smart as a whip. He's he's business. He's like he mixes everything. And he is, I hate that this is the way he was in pop culture, but maybe, God does things. So maybe he'll have some more views. Maybe.
Well, hey, he been on the Tamron Hall show. He talked about it. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's the type, he ain't gonna care what people say.
No, but as long as you know that you have done what you are supposed to do, whatever the detractors are, and that you feel that you have made the right decision at the right time, whatever it proves later on is not important. As long as you do that with fidelity, you'll be all right.
And I think that's the leadership grace. Like, I can see, because people say, "Oh, Erin, you too nice." Yes, I'm gonna give you chances. I'm gonna give you support until that grace keeps running low. I'll be like, Erin's grace is up. You got God's grace that never runs out. So take that up with him. Your time up is here.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna let you, for lack of better words, hang yourself.
And I release you to.
And that didn't need to happen. She didn't need to be embarrassed if she would have not been so rebellious in the first place. She didn't have to get that rebuke on public camera, because we didn't need to know that, because he did it in private like he was supposed to.
Right.
Before.
But now she has been released to her destiny.
I feel like she's still gonna be in a praise and worship team. I don't think he's that, unless she takes herself off. He's not.
No. Sometimes in the old school church, surrender your membership or be sat down. That you just gonna sit down.
You can tell you was a good Southern Baptist, man.
You can surrender your membership. You gonna sit down somewhere. You can be sat down. So no, she may still be an attendant, but she can be sat down. So yes, you go sit her down. Go Pastor Keon,
People,
sit her down.
who else needs to be sat down this week is we got a couple people on this list.
Couple people.
DJ Black, sat down.
You made a whole career off of interviewing Black celebrities, Black rappers, like you trying to get the tea. You're not even on camera. Right.
Oh, and paid interviews. You pay people to make us look bad.
Oh, okay then. So, and then you're gonna threaten a Black woman's job because she told you to stay out of the conversation.
So if you're not
put such a can on this moment, like, come on now.
So if you're not caught up, and I don't blame you if you're not, I was a little 2-day back and forth. So what had happened in the middle of this beef on X was the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. There was a Princeton professor. I don't have her name right now, but she simply said to DJ Vlad made a comment that Kendrick's, I forget, it must be Euphoria was whack. I don't know if it was what diss track it came in under, but he said something about it was whack, and everybody's like, work with it. So everybody had comments, but she was like, you need to just back out this conversation, sir. This is not for you to comment on. Nobody asked you. And they went back and forth and back and forth. He got embarrassed, and he was like, he played the reverse race card. And said, well, you're being raped so you're saying because I'm not Black, I can't comment. Yes. You're not, you may be in the culture, but you're not of the culture. Like, we don't want
you're not invited to my cookout.
No. So she called him out. He got his feelings hurt, and he added, do you want me to at your employer? Like, you're going to get me fired because I said something to you in my private time? And she pulled the card. I went to Princeton, and I'm a professor. Try it again. Go back and try it again. So he gave her a non-apology, of course, because he was called a test.
Right, but again, this is why y'all laugh at me. There are certain spaces. That I want to remain for just me and mine. You can take that however you want to. And people out there in social media land, Erin has witnessed to my need to keep certain things to myself for me and mine. It doesn't mean I don't love my people, all people, but there's certain spaces. And this is one, for him to enact his superiority, his assumed superiority in that moment, instead of recognizing this moment is not about you at all, that's fine. I mean, he can play the reverse. But when you start to say, now out at your employer, you want to get them fired, you might as well make what are we gonna call him now?
DJ Karen.
DJ Karen. I mean, that's perfect for him, right? Because in this moment, no. And I hope that the people who have been sitting down with you for interviews, whether they're being paid or not, will say, you know what, that was a moment where any credit or respect you had in this culture is gone.
Yeah.
You threatened that woman's job because she told you to sit down. She sat you down. Well, let's go.
And he refuses to speak on Israel Palestine, take any side, speak publicly on it. He said he shouldn't have to. And that you have a special interest in that, sir. A very special interest.
That's your conversation. That's your conversation. Say something about that. I think he's from Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he has a lot. He has a lot
to talk about other than talking about Kendrick.
He has two wars. He has actually two wars that he could speak publicly on, and refuses not to.
And come from behind the camera. See, I think that's also something that's very interesting in terms of shielding himself while he allows his guest on whatever this is to sit there and spill everything about himself, where he's hiding his face. So that you only hear the voice. And so if you didn't know that Vlad was not in the community, then because his voice is sort of different, so you would have, it's not the typical. So that's all purposeful to shield himself. And they can say what they want about, oh, this is about the interviewee and it's his platform, or whatever they're saying at the time in their face. No, I want to see your face too. But you've shown it. Yeah. So go take. Yeah. We're gonna again. Theme of that. Surrender your membership, sir.
And real quickly, Tiffany Haddish. This, like I said, the intersection of pop culture and higher ed is. So Tiffany Haddish speaks out on protest. I don't even know where she was. She wasn't doing a comedy set. I don't know what she was doing. You know. Okay. Well, we're gonna keep this real short and cute. She decides, because she does. So her dad is from Eritrea.
Okay.
She's Eritrean. That's where her Jewish heritage comes from, because her dad was Jewish. Mm-hmm. So I never read her book. I love Tiffany Haddish. I'm not hot on her these days. Mm-hmm. I wish she had a better PR team. To just tap her, to say, go start down. That's another one who go start down sometimes. So go ahead.
I think part of it is, I mean, we have to be fair. I think what made her hot in the beginning is what is also contributing to people being tired of it. Like they wanted the breath of fresh air has not gone stale. And that her just being outlandish, but you also have to understand, when you get to a certain level, you can still be you and still be as savage as you like, but you have to do it with a little bit more finesse. And I don't think she was being counseled on the finesse of it. Yeah.
And I get it. And if you read her book, which is a really great book to read, she has a really interesting background, The Black Unicorn, great book. And she talks about how she didn't know, like she found her father. So she's on a journey now to really discover and embrace her Jewish heritage. Mm-hmm. She did what's the female version of it's a bar mitzvah, and then it's her
mitzvah. Yeah, she did her mitzvah.
Yeah. So she did that, and even before this part happened, she was like, when the war first started, I'm using war loosely, when the war first started, so we don't get canceled. When the war first started, she's like, I'm gonna hop on a plane and go see what it really is. And they was like, what? Because I don't think what they telling me is true. So you use your platform to stir up more fake news rumors about what's going on even before you got there. So she did a lot. So that turned people off. So now this current news story, she's somewhere, there's a video, and she commented that college students, I'm summarizing, have no right to protest over take the pro-Palestinian side. She used her platform to do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference. Right. I'm not saying dish your heritage or anything. I'm saying be responsible. Read a little bit more, have a little bit more intelligent answer, or don't say nothing at all. Keep your opinions out. I'm not saying shut up and dribble. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying a little bit, you got to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, you really do. I think, but I also think it is her innocence in that, right? It's what made her such a standout in Girls Trip. It's like, well, if it comes here, it's gonna come straight out there. The fact that she sometimes has no filter, is what makes her her. But also, again, she doesn't have the team, I don't think, or won't listen.
I don't think she will listen. That's a good point to her team, because when she had Law Roach dressing her, and he does not dress anybody but the beautiful Zendaya.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
He was on her personal team, and he's like, I love Tiffany, but she's doing too much. Just too much. Like, I can't.
Right.
There was an incident that happened that made him pull away, but they were real friends. She had a law don't stop. He's gotten out the business. He is a one pony between Celine Dion, and Zendaya. That's all. And he had Tiffany.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I just literally this morning read an article about La Roche, and he's spending years. He already has the budget for his funeral. Now, that is a near and dear cause to my heart because I have had mine planned for years. Don't judge me. So, the fact that he already, knows what he wants Zendaya to wear, like, to his funeral. I mean, I love him so much. So if you lose a gem like La Roche, who stands on business, okay,
Yes.
the phrase of 2024,
Yes.
who stands on business about his clients and his people, we should all be so lucky. Like,
so I'm like, he might have been the stylist, but I can only imagine what she not listening to on her own team, the rest of her team.
There is an elegance. It's like whoever is styling Cardi B.
Love him. Fantasia.
Whoever has come on to those two teams has made transformative changes, not just in what they're wearing, but how they see themselves. And then
and that all comes with the package. A good stylist will do that.
It's kind of like, people would laugh at me with my weekly hair appointment, which is why the incident was so important at that other place. Because you feel that time, it creates the whole package for you. The projection of your confidence when you feel good and you look good. So that's just transformative. And baby, Tiff, you got people on your
and
team.
he was trying to. He could have put her in that Zendaya space, but there's a grace and there's a polished package. Even Cardi has learned to do. Although as we move on to the last topic. Although she has her mix-ups, but she had to realize that I can still be Cardi, but I had to learn how to evolve into another Cardi. Right. And I love her, but even she has crossed in that fashion, high fashion, couture, super fashion type individual where what she puts on is, and everybody wants to work with her. So I think that's where he wanted Tiffany to be, but she was so rebellious of, she wore the same dress and she was so, I'm wearing this dress at everything because I paid. Like,
that's not how you do that. What did I tell you? At some point, like if you're faculty, you can, when I'm in a Chico's room, I'm in a Chico's room. and listen, y'all had to forgive me. I mean, I'll take the negative, but I'm gonna say what I gotta say it the way I can say it, right? If I'm in a Chico's room, I'm wearing Chico's. But baby, when you hit that St. John room, you gotta wear that St. John.
I touched the door handle of St. John, but never went in.
I will never forget my sister's first time with me. Coming to the place. And I bought 4 pieces of St. John, and she almost broke out in hives because she's so frugal and she's so cheap. But those were the rooms, and so that affects when you look like you belong, when you look like you have elevated your style, elevated to be in the position where you are, and not to be a clone, but to be comparable. Because I can't wear the Escada or the all the other names, right? So that I know people were wearing or whatever, the by itself, like all of that, fine. But I got to my St. John level, and now I'm back in my Hey, I'm back in, as a faculty member, I dressed as a faculty member and still dress like mid-level administration, even though I'm not. Like, I still am a fugitive. But there are certain things that I think Cardi understands. I think, it just, and Zendaya, oh my God, Zendaya is just a joy.
I love her.
Just a joy to even watch, right?
Yeah. So our last topic,
Mm-hmm.
we were coming up with topics in our prep session. I put them at Gala, and you brought up one person, one word. So we're gonna focus on that one person, one word.
Let's see if you all can guess who I'm talking about. A champion. Where's your stylist, boo? And if you wear gold lame and black one more time.
She did it before. I'll comment on her. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
And I love her.
She's forgettable. It's forgettable to me. I do love her. I love her.
I love her.
She got the makeup person right this time, y'all.
Okay. Listen, and here's
She did. It was one step closer.
It was one step closer, and not quite.
The lighting was right. Her pre pictures lighting was right, and it was one step closer.
One step, but there's a TikTok creative who changed the hair to what did she call it? Barbie brunette. That looks lush. I want you to get away from the blonde. Mm-hmm. Never put on blonde again. I want somebody to know what color shade you are. And you have way too many resources of your own to not have your makeup well. And you just opened up a makeup line. But I have to trust you.
Oh no, I won't be using that. I didn't know that.
Yes, it is. It's huge. But if you can't get it right, baby, we're not gonna.
Just go get dressed with your sister.
Oh my God, she looked gorgeous. Oh my God, she was gorgeous. But Venus always is.
Yeah.
And see you, but y'all went to fashion design school.
Yeah.
You went to school for this, baby. You went to school for this. You went to school for this. And I love it. I let you understand. I love you. The only time I could go to sleep during any of the tournaments was when the two of y'all were playing each other, because I knew one of y'all was gonna win. Listen, I love it, but you went to school for this.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up our hot topics.
we might be canceled before we finish out the series. But hey, listen, I gotta say what I gotta say. Erin keeps me in check. I'm sorry, y'all.
Our hot topics. There's a lot. And the main news segment is even hotter. We might can't even do all of that we want to do.
I know.
Even this morning.
I know.
I woke up to another something. All right, where we want to start at? Let's see. Some of these we can hit and go. Do we want to start the feel good news first? We don't want to cut that off. Let's start the feel good news.
Still feel good. You just get started with our feel good.
It's 2 weeks to feel good news, right? Okay. Actually, I have 3. One of us not feel good.
Okay.
We put it in there to be petty. All right. The real feel good news. Georgia Tech's first Black graduate, because I am a STEM girl, if y'all didn't know it. We're very opposite on this show. Opposites attracts. I'm very STEM. She's very not.
Humanities and social sciences, yes.
Yeah. I had to do data, qualitative, quantitative for my dissertation. She watched film and analyzed and wrote about it.
I read a few books too. My dissertation, see, y'all gonna love it. American Pimpology.
Pimp Chronicles.
Yeah. I'm your resident pimpologist. Yes. Okay.
Literally. She got her for duh in pimp. Her for duh in pimpology. So the Georgia Tech's first Black engineering graduate was able to hand his granddaughter her diploma last week. I thought that was so amazing, which is sad. It's feel good and sad at the same time. He was one of, I think, 300 in his class.
Wow.
In I do not have the date. So it wasn't that long ago, y'all. None of these stories ever is, but yeah, he was one of he was only black man, only black person of 300 to graduate with his engineering degree, and his granddaughter followed in his
congratulations to them both. Congratulations to them both. Yeah.
So you have some feel good down at the Tougaloo. What y'all celebrated?
We celebrated our Two Rivers Gala and honored Zeta Merchant, who is the first Black woman to be an admiral in the Coast Guard. I think I got the title right. I'm pretty sure. We also honored Derek Johnson, another Tougaloo alum. All of these are Tougaloo alums. Derek Johnson, of course. Tougaloo alums. Tougaloo alums. And Tougaloo alums. Derek Johnson, the president and CEO of the NAACP. And Hakeem Alusei, who is an astrophysicist and Tougaloo alum, who was on a shortlisted team for the Nobel Prize in Physics. But he's a television personality, talks about science. I mean, he's just great people. So we had a really good time. Had the OJs perform. Yep, I think it's their final year for the tour. Yeah.
They put on a good show.
They do. It's probably time. I know Frankie Velvet is retiring, OJ's are retiring, but they still put on the best show they've been there twice. So yeah, they still put on a pretty good show. So it was a good time, raised a little money, honored a few Tougaloo alums, and I'm a proud Tougalooan. Can y'all tell?
Can you tell? And part of her funeral plans is her body is gonna lay in state in the
Yes. Okay, so yes. So full disclosure, I will have a white St. John. I haven't found it yet, but I'll have it. White St. John for my sorority ceremony. And then I'm gonna lie in state at my alma mater, in a blue dress. Yes. So I love Tougaloo. I've given them my youth and everything else. So as a faculty member, I gave them everything I had. So yes. And then of course pink for my funeral.
Yeah. I learned of her funeral plans. I learned of her funeral plans probably 2 weeks after initially meeting her.
Because I knew the job I didn't know I needed to know. Either the job was gonna kill me or I was gonna kill somebody. So yeah, so I needed to make sure that people knew what my plans were.
And if she ever pissed me off between now and then, she will be in red and white. Demond, I mean, she just told me that she, her bread had been her favorite color, like secretly. And I got this red St. John suit that I think you should put it in.
Oh my God. I love y'all little sisters. I just say, okay. Pink with pearl.
I was gonna elephant in there with her too. Don't make me mad.
You are the best Erin I know. You're my favorite Erin. My only Erin, but you're my favorite.
And I'm gonna argue with you to the day. You're gonna come back and haunt me, so I'm just gonna keep arguing with
you. Yes. So the other one is Tennessee State has revived their baseball program.
Oh, we talked about that last week.
We did. That's not my
yes.
Okay. What else do we have? I'm still excited about that though.
Yeah. So we had our fake feel good news.
I know what it
is. Donations. Okay, go ahead. You got a real one?
I got a real one though. I don't know how real it is, but it's real. It's a real one to me. Boosie Badass has a new blues album coming out, and I just had to tell the world, blues, mine.
the fake Baton Rougean me who lives and pay her taxes in Baton Rouge didn't know this. But for some reason, the Mississippian put this on my timeline.
Who gets on TikTok. So yes, and he's excited about it. So we want to support Boosie Badass.
Yeah.
And his glow up as a
it's a real dark time when we support Boosie and Plies and
hey. Do not make me do my Plies impression. Listen. I'm just gonna tell you. Okay. So yes.
So FAMU, it was feeling good at the time. I was like, oh my God, that's really good. And that lasted all of 5 minutes.
We are roasting them. Oh my God. And my good friend, Gina, who's a proud Gina, Marsha, her mother, whole family, proud FAMU graduates. So I love you. Okay, go ahead.
Tell us, well, you brought this news story to me. I saw the initial one. Tell people what had happened down to FAMU.
Well, they gave an honorary degree and accepted a transformative gift of $237 million from oh my goodness, I have it written down. I have to find it.
It don't matter because we don't know if this person exists or not.
Nobody can find a digital imprint. Like as soon as it was announced, who is this person that's making this transformative gift? And no one can find out how he makes his money. So this $237 million. Now, a few years ago, same person wanted to give $95 million to Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina said, you can't prove where you got this money from. No. So, fam, and unfortunately, in the space of having to seek money and build your endowment and protect your future, unfortunately, sometimes HBCUs jump on, I'm gonna kill them with this one, and so now they've had to call for an emergency board meeting and put a kibosh. They kept saying, oh, the check's already here. The money's already been transferred. Where did you get this money from, sir? Because no one can prove it. Like even his 3 LinkedIn pages from what someone said, that one article I read were full of errors and misspellings. And it's like, you got a permit to grow hemp, but you have no land. So where are you growing this hemp, sir? Like there are too many questions about it, but it goes back to the point of HBCUs being looking for endowments and these gifts that seem to, taking the gift because at the time it sounded really good. Like you can make the really big impact, but it's caused more problems because what kind of leadership doesn't completely vet a donor of that particular magnitude? And
So
just a few years ago, he was living with his mama.
Okay, so I got a lot of questions. You did more research on this, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
not had my chance to get a large donation. Hopefully, that's on the horizon at some point. What is the vetting process? What is the usual vetting process that advancement offices, development offices do when they get a large gift inquiry?
Well, you do have to be leery of an individual donor. Like if you don't know the name, if you can't find who they are, like we know where Mackenzie Scott got her money, right?
Yeah.
She earned it. So that's different when you have an individual donor. Most of the time, I think institutions like to go to stated, well-resourced foundational support or a human being where they know they can track. But when somebody comes out of the blue and says, I want to give you $237 million and you don't have any kind of digital imprint. Nobody did a Google. I don't understand it. I think that also goes back to this survival mode, and I'm gonna take anything. Gregory Jerami. So this is that's his name. That's
So
on
is
record.
this okay? Question:
And
Is this who the actual? Is this the actual person, or is he a representative? I'm getting different stories.
So he says that his business is the Isaac Batterson Seventh Family Trust.
Well, one story I saw that he said, I want to remain anonymous until I'm ready to come public. Until then, put it under this trust. That's the name that's going to go forward publicly. So is he and I thought the man that you just named was a representative of the trust who's representing the donor who wanted to remain anonymous.
And the CEO of the trust.
Donor and CEO of the trust.
Of the trust at 30.
Does that usually happen like that?
No.
Okay. That's what I thought.
You really have to go through. If I walk up and go to my alma mater and say, hey, I want to give you $100 million. I don't have, but if I get my name,
living or dead, I don't even have no.
I'm not gonna have it even when I'm dead. You can add up all the life insurance, you can add up the property value. It's still not gonna get. Listen,
you might have to pay. You still might have. The university might have to pay me.
Listen,
after we add up all that,
like Bodini Brown and Ali. I got 5 good twos. You go give me. I might have 5 good twos. But what it does for some people, I'm not saying that he is, but for some people who are trying to put their names out there with good things, so that they can get investors for the things that they want, so they put these good things out.
Put it out, but not $237 million out.
Yeah, he jumped the shark on that. But
it's not even at the one time. It was like not even a quarter up front, but it was like 61 million. No, that's not right.
It was 95. It was 95 million for Coastal Carolina.
For FAMU, the way he broke it down, and I know that's how large gifts are, but it was supposed to be one lump sum given up front. But that's the part that I think is the fraud part, because he's giving shares. He's giving shares that are worth $237 million, not cash, not anything else. And I know this the way some things work.
Listen, this was allegedly, if I were to classify this allegedly as a straight up scam.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna say allegedly, because I don't have anything for you to sue me with, sir. But some people do these big grand gestures to have their names linked with such good news that then they can go to other investors and get real money. And that's how they pull people in. You looking so confused?
Because it didn't work with $95,000 3 years ago.
Right, million. And so, but
at an institution that, I mean, I know you know academic. The only reason I know Coastal Carolina, is it Coastal Carolina?
Coastal Carolina.
It's from this story. So it didn't work with a lower amount, and so you just jumped to FAMU.
And so what he said then was that they were asking questions that he deemed to be racist when what he wanted to do was give. But I can tell you, there is no development officer worth their salt that would not fully vet this before making that kind of announcement.
So is this North Carolina or South Carolina?
I want to say it's North Carolina.
So you had North Carolina A&T where you could have took this money and not have racist questions asked of you, but you took it to Coastal.
Right. You took it to Coastal. But again, we're in an age where it's in South Carolina, it's in Conway.
Okay. Same difference, not that far.
Same
But
difference.
they had a lot of institutions that wouldn't ask you racist type questions.
But and so it was easier for you to do that. What you thought was they're going to be small enough that they were going to be so grateful that they did not pay attention to the question.
Yeah.
That they would not ask questions, and they would be so grateful for the announcement. And so it's sort of like when you get people so afraid that they do or they're in such dire straits, which family really shouldn't be. But
No.
that they want to make these trends. Everybody wants to one up each other at commencement. So you didn't, if he really wanted to make an impact, he would have said, I'm going to pay off everybody's bills, because that one has been done before. No one would have questioned it.
Yeah, because it's cash up front right now.
Right?
Clear it off.
But he doesn't have that. So
nothing's liquid.
And he 30. And no one's heard of him. You could have a Google search would have made that clear. A Google search of him, the truck, any would have made that clear. But just a few years ago, you and your whole family were living with your mom in a house worth about $170,000.
Yeah,
make it make sense.
This reminds me of those memes where it says, "I'm taking my daughter first class, so she don't be bamboozled by your Dustin son."
Exactly. You know, and
I mean, for us to get our own money,
right?
Yeah, so we don't be taken by some dusty people looking to. Is this would be considered? No, this wouldn't be laundering money. It wouldn't even be laundering. I don't know what's the scam.
What the scam is to get the good name and goodwill associated with the name.
So now we budgeting, we balling out, we doing capital projects and stuff,
right?
And they would be bankrupt.
You're using that as leverage to actually get cash because you've done so much. Yeah.
All our FAMU would have had nothing. Balance sheet might have looked good for a little bit, but that's still ain't liquid money.
But you still got to do your 990, which leads us to
speaking of 990s. Not funny. Oh my God. It's not funny.
I'm sorry. By segue was funny, but this is not funny. I'm sorry.
It is not funny. Jesus Christ. St. Augustine is battling with the IRS. So when the initial reaction when we getting these news stories together, I don't know if you said, "Oh, we talked about St. Aug," or we didn't, or you was like, "Oh yeah, they battling accreditation." I said, no. They fighting the IRS.
You cannot have two struggles. And that's a simple thing. You have to file an audit every year. You have to file.
And that's two heavyweights. You in the ring with two heavyweights. Stacks.
And the IRS.
Sex Cox.
That is a marriage made in hell. You can't have two struggles. It just is what it is. You can't.
And although I think both are probably whatever they have with sex is their financial ethics piece.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's just you getting pummeled.
Right.
On both sides. And I'm like, it's not the fact that you got to pay taxes. It's the fact that you got to make sure your 990s right, that you listen all assets and donations and all these things right.
And so when you don't have that, and that really will put, if St. Aug's they've already lost their appeal. So what it really will put those administrators at risk unless, they go to another family reunion spot and somebody helps them out.
I hope they do overcome. Mars Brown is doing really well.
Some of them have overcome a little too close to home, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that we have to be very mindful of with our balance sheets, because, and I know it's tricky, right? as a provost, whatever, like we know the balance sheet is the balance sheet. We sit around those tables, and I had a very good when I was at Tougaloo in the provost office, and even at that other place. We had pretty decent CFOs, right? Who knew the balance up, backwards and forwards when we were there. Have nothing to do with what happened after we left. But when we were there, like, and even at Tougaloo, when I was in the provost office, the CFO at that time knew that daily balance sheet coming and going. That audit was scheduled. It was held. It was what it was. We did what we were supposed to do, and to assist in that process, because that's all hands on deck kind of thing. Because that's important. If you do nothing else, and the one thing you do not want to ever owe is Uncle Sam. You never want to owe the IRS.
You don't even have to owe them. You're a nonprofit institution. Like, it ain't much you owe. You just got to make sure the form is turned in, and that you're transparent with your funds, because you're a nonprofit entity.
Right. We talking about paperwork.
Yeah.
We talking about paperwork.
Yeah.
You're gonna risk it all. A historic institution. Oh, paperwork. Because they'll put you on
paperwork. Everybody wants the paperwork. SACS wants the paper. It's the same thing. It's one document.
That's right.
Your audit. Once the audit clears, you do your 990, put it on record. SACS everybody looks at it. It's public record. It's one document, but everybody wants it. So if you get that one thing right, you can stay out of trouble.
There's not a position at an institution where if I see it and I think, okay, maybe this is somewhere I want to go, that I don't check that 990.
Yeah.
I check the 990 before I apply to any institution.
Even when I worked in a nonprofit, we check 990s for foundations. Who you giving to? Who you done gave to?
That's right.
Do you really have it? Going back to FAMU.
Mm-hmm. Do you have it? Where did you get it from? Because you don't want to be caught up in any mess from somebody else. Because if there had been, if a donor is laundering money through or trying to protect assets from an institution, use that institution to protect assets, and then they get caught up in a quagmire of tax problems and blah 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 blah, then they could come after that donation and freeze accounts at that institution.
Yeah,
that's very much possible. Because of course, at any time, a donor can get angry with an institution and say, "Give me my money back."
Yeah.
So it's you have to be very careful.
That is going to be a battle for them, because people, like you say, are going to be weary with giving to them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not getting donations, you got to keep students in, retain them. But you're going to have to be real nifty to make sure you're retaining, and you got to make sure the students are paying money. And God forbid that we see another article where they got an audit from the federal government for misappropriation of federal aid funds.
Oh my God.
That's going to be
that's it. You're done.
Yeah. So if that's not in order, everything trickles. But I hope, for the sake, St. Augustine can win, like the right leadership can really grab hold and transform. We've seen it done. Morris Brown has bounced back from this type of quagmire, as we say.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope it can bounce back, but it's going to take a real strong leadership team, new team. Everybody's going to be hands on deck, alum, to really pull this off. It's going to have to take a real vision to rally faculty, staff, and students around this thing. And it can, like I said, it can happen, but it's going to take some real transformative leadership to bring it back.
But they're going to have to understand that in that transformative leadership, have some crisis leadership skills, because that's totally different. They've got to be able to lead in a crisis, which we are seeing not happen on these college campuses with these protests, to be able to make hard decisions and take accountability and take accountability for what went wrong, even if they were there or not, and then move forward. Because once you go to your alums, once you go to your community and say, okay, this is where we went wrong, we're going to fix this. These are the steps, and you're transparent, I don't think you'll have a problem.
Yeah.
I don't think you have a problem with anybody wanting to support you. It's when you hide. It's when you make knee-jerk reactions, or you say, I'm not telling y'all anything, or you do all of that. Then you have a problem. Then you're gonna have
on a good note, I don't want to because I know it's very hard in these situations, but this is the reason why we're doing this. One of the quotes from the article says they talked to a student and said, I'm forever reminded of my senior year. $1,200 is what I needed to graduate. One of our board members was on campus and handed me an envelope. It was with several checks from his Sunday school class. And they go on to say, I'm a living testimony of why we always need to look to help somebody. We need that chance.
Yep.
And those are the stories that get buried in all of this. And we want to be, unbiased or very, very diverse in our perspective. But
because a lot of it goes that people don't think about the impact on students for this. Students who have chosen you. And it is incumbent upon all of the stakeholders and that's the catchphrase, the stakeholders, the board, the administration, the faculty, the staff, to remember they need you and you're transforming their lives and they're giving, we had that student who needed just $500 to graduate. And he was smiling so hard at rehearsal that people thought he was drunk. I was like, no, he not a drop. I even asked the young man, I said, are you all right? You been drinking? He said, no, I'm just happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talking about
that was a good time. Want to be a little bit more specific to the 990. Our St. Augustine had a tax lien because they had unpaid payroll taxes from 2020.
Well, now if you're gonna take them from me, you better turn them in. You better turn them in. If not, let me deal with it. Because oh God.
Yeah, that's on that. Let's balance this thing on out. It's not just HBCUs in these quagmires, it's also small private liberal institutions that are in trouble. Keystone College. We picking this one out because this is one I saw, but when I went to go look, I couldn't remember the name of the college that was closing. But Keystone is in Ohio. Let me go back. Yeah. No. Pennsylvania. Sorry. There was another. When I went to look at Keystone, let me finish the thought. When I went to look at Keystone, I realized there's a whole list. If you Google it, there's a whole, every year, there's 2024 college closings. There's a whole list. You can Google it. It's getting real out here in these streets.
Yeah.
So after 150 years of existence, Pennsylvania's Keystone College may be closing soon. They are still enrolling students, but they still don't know if they're going to be open in the fall. And they did some things. They went from a community college awarding its first bachelor's degree in 2000, and then in 2014 announced the approval to offer master's degrees and adding a football team.
There's the
college. The college has struggled financially for the past decade.
A lot of people think that athletics brings money into an institution. It does not.
You need money.
You need
money. Which is why the baseball at Tennessee, the baseball reinvigorated. That means they had the capital to bring it back to keep it afloat, so it can start to build program. But yeah, athletics it costs money to make money.
There are. You've got to recruit players. The travel costs have gone up. Maintaining your stadiums and facilities that's gone up. Making sure you have comparable facilities for male and female facilities. Your coaches, the per diem.
Gotta feed them.
Athletics, particularly football, equipment, trainers, all of that. It's an expensive proposition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
that
they are
will close an institution quickly. That's where, and then trying to compete, people think it's athletics, as opposed to pouring money into your academic and social experiences that make you unique.
Yeah.
When you can't afford athletics.
And if you invest, I'm a student success person here. If you actually invest in the students, they're gonna stay. Their tuition can solve a lot of this. But for some reason, we look from A to Z for all the solutions, when the solution that's right in front of our eyes is invest in student success and do it right. You can keep that money, have some left over as your own capital to invest in athletics. But we do things so backwards that, and we still like, well, we don't know what we're going to do. Like, I don't know why we don't know what to do. It's just we just got to be 50% is good. Like, we happy with 50% as a country of college graduation. Like, people are happy with, oh, well, some students gonna leave anyway. That's not they may leave, but they're not gonna leave because they can't stay here. They're gonna leave because I got family, like, even that's a excuse to me, because we should be able to help students figure that out to be able to stay. But we have been ignoring student success and investing. I don't know what did you look up their retention rate?
Yeah,
I thought you did. They might have been somewhere else.
I thought it was like 50. Let me check. I can check. No problem.
Was it 54? It was kind of like, okay, for a community college. Well, they're not a community college anymore, but they, a college.
But if they would have, even that requires, so once you, their retention rate is 64%.
If they would have just fought to probably retain 10% more, it would have been a different ball game, and you'd attracted some.
So when you start adding athletics to an institution that does not, no, I'm sorry, when you add football, because I'm sure they had cross country. I think they probably had something. Something. But when you added football, the money that you took away from whatever else you had, whether you had one big donor and everybody said, oh, let's just do football because we're college, and everybody was, no, you could have put that money, whether it's in your endowment, ramp up your tutoring services, ramp up your recruitment efforts to gain the money that you needed. Your student activities fund. Football is not the answer. And I'm from the South, so where football is a religion, but it's not always the answer.
Yeah. And I'm making a very general assumption. They're looking for a new investment partner, but I'm very curious if they are to get this investment, where's this money going to go? Are you going to invest in human resources to actually bring on people like qualified advisors? Are you going to build up your student success? Are you going to, now that you're not a 2-year college anymore, are you going to do a first and second year? Are you, like, where are these investments going? And not in that student support line that belong to faculty.
Right. That's important about really assessing.
I'm sorry, academic support that belongs to faculty.
Right. Where your assessment is coming from to determine where that money goes. And I always think about my shock and awe when Sweetbriar was on the verge of closing with a $98 million endowment. What? Because, most, in my mind, most HBCUs, they had $98 million. Everybody get paid on time.
Yeah.
But where are you going to put that money? Be more intentional. And I think this is a lesson for all institutions as they are getting ready for their July 1 start date on their new budget and their fiscal year. Where are you putting your resources, your alumni dollar, everything you got at commencement, all the checks? Where are you putting that money right now? Where is the budget going? And sometimes, we have to make hard decisions about those kinds of things. You didn't always have football. Let it go.
Yeah. And it's
I love it.
2019. So yeah. Let's see. Well, we got a few more minutes. Let's talk quickly about Birmingham Southern, which is closing, but we're not going to talk about the closing. We're going to talk about what happens once they close.
Yeah, you keep calling it Brigham.
I say Birmingham Southern.
Yeah. So, you've got a few colleges wanting to get together and buy the land and do something. And then one is going rogue and they're trying to buy it for a STEM institution. I know you love that, but I don't know. I don't know how, I don't know what the purpose will be for the purchase of all of that. I don't know how I feel about it.
It is going to be, I think so. Backstory: Birmingham Southern is closing. I don't know what, I think it's just a college.
Yeah.
Right. And Miles College, HBCU, and Alabama A&M they're both in Alabama, and they're both trying to purchase it.
But they're trying to connect. They're trying to consolidate funds to purchase this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Alabama State is trying to purchase it for a STEM institution.
That's what I understood from the articles.
So you go take out. So Alabama State's plan is to put all the STEM over there at Birmingham Southern campus and keep them away from the humanities and life. And they're gonna balance people.
I don't feel like that, but I do know if you're not careful, it'll end up being that way.
Yeah.
Because I read a couple articles about it. I can't remember seeing what Miles College wanted. Maybe Miles wanted it to be for STEM, and Alabama A&M wanted it to be Alabama A&M at Birmingham, a satellite campus. I think so, because Miles is heavy tech. Because they have their FBI, their Homeland Security program. They're heavy in the tech cybersecurity.
Right.
So maybe they want it to be for a STEM campus, and Alabama.
Are they trying to create their own AUC kind of thing?
Yeah.
I think I don't know if there. Sometimes there's some good ideas, but if you can't fully fund them, then you just need to leave. It just may be an idea that passes you by.
Yeah.
Because and I know Miles just a few years ago they were thinking about taking away football. I guess they've added it back, or they decided not to. This is why we were at the other place. So I, as a small private UNCF, I believe, institution, make sure you can afford it. And if you can't, then you gotta let it go.
Yeah. I think for what they want to do, I've spoken at Miles before. And like I said, they have a strong STEM program that they're doing like cutting edge stuff. Like if you want to go work FBI, anything federal level, federal criminal justice or tech, cybersecurity, like they got a real good thing going on there. I can see that because I think they do have access to some money, like federal money, and they're specialized in it.
Okay, so that'll okay. So
this is us making assumptions, right? We don't
right.
know
We just talking. We just having a conversation. Allegedly.
I'm assuming if I'm a leader and I know what their specialty is and they want to do STEM, I'm thinking they're trying to capitalize off of what they're already doing well, which we just said it in the Keystone College, right? We said that same thing. Find something you do well, put that money there, and not try to do everything like the big R1 institutions, right?
Right.
Or SDC or wherever your big money comes from, right? So I think I could see that there. And I mean, if they're trying to
making it more land, so
and if Alabama A&M is trying to do like a system type thing, I can see that too. Because where's Alabama A&M? What city?
I thought it was no. What's in Huntsville?
Okay.
Let's see. But Let me see. Because I actually have a friend whose daughter goes to Alabama State. Alabama A&M. It's in Huntsville. So
Okay.
it's in Huntsville.
In Birmingham and Huntsville is. I try not to. The only time I'm in Alabama is for the beach. It's very, very, very southern. That's southern Alabama, right on the coast.
Right, right.
I'm not in Alabama that often. I have no need to be.
Yeah, I guess if and Miles is in Fairfield, but it's that sort of close too, right?
Yeah.
I'm concerned about making sure that they don't get over in over their heads. And again, they especially if you have to partner, which means you couldn't afford it all, so you're partnering. But if you're trying to do kind of like an AUC model of shared resources, it seems great. But I don't know. But then why is Alabama State? They want the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm kind of sad about. I would love to have seen some synergy.
Yeah,
like that shared resource piece. But I think Mouse wants to do that. I don't think A&M, because they had already made the offer without it. We'll keep following this story and see who wins the battle.
Yeah, and it will be a battle. It doesn't have to be though. It doesn't have to be. I think if they could follow sort of, so Miles as a smaller institution could create these feeder programs into both A&M and state, right? So there's a way to kind of think about that holistically. Like if you want to put, I don't like complete isolation. I'm a liberal arts kind of girl. So I like this. I want to.
Says the woman who ain't never been in any STEM, on any STEM campus. The science nerds always relegated to the back of campus. We're always going to be in the labs, and we always going to have to walk a mile to be in the chemistry, the biology, and the math.
I took my 4 classes that I was supposed to take in the natural sciences, and then I got up out of there. But
right. They probably didn't even put y'all in the science building. They
probably put more money
in the general ed building.
Y'all may be a mile away from everything, or at the back of the campus, but y'all get more money than anybody. Everybody's talking. Oh,
and that's what I'm saying. Regardless if we on the same campus or separate, we still gonna be relegated to taking 10 hours a day because we got 25 1 credit hour labs that we got to get through. So you're gonna be isolated regardless.
No, y'all should really fight it. Y'all should really fight it. Y'all should sue. Y'all should really fight it.
It's fun. It's fun.
No, it's not. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
It's fun. Fun times. Fun times. I can still remember the smell. Let's do another 10 minutes. We try not to have episodes so long so y'all come back and see us again. And geez, it's so much that went on this week, y'all.
Well, I want to say this. I'm going to end on one more thing. Yeah, one more thing. And I know it's going to sound bad, but let me tell y'all something. All institutions of higher learning. If you have limited space for your commencement, either issue tickets or move outdoors. Okay? I want you to understand this. Because what I saw at Howard breaks my heart. And one thing about it, though, I am glad that we are no longer the worst commencement ever, because it's at other places.
Yeah, that one time we was at a school that made it to Shade Room for their commencement. I'm so glad that B is out. This didn't top that. At least they got in. They might have got kicked out, but they was in. And they saw they student walk across the stage.
Move, right? So I think if you just either issue tickets or move to an outside venue. Because if I paid you the kind of money that those children and their parents and their grandparents and their aunts and uncles to get them through, if you ran out of space, you need to understand, okay, what we gonna do? You've got to be able to pivot because they deserve that. These are also the students that did not get a commencement during COVID. These students deserve that. Their parents needed this. Their grandparents needed this. Some folks were just holding on to see their baby walk across the stage. It's just unfair. And it also speaks to all of these commencements and the speakers that have been canceled and all of that because of the protest on campus. You got to stop having knee-jerk reactions. I guess this is my rant. I don't know. Stop having these knee-jerk reactions because you don't know how to deal with the discord. And if you don't learn how to take the discord into discourse, then you have a problem. Because these students deserve that. They've earned it. And you have your listening sessions, have your talking points so that you understand what free speech and activism is. Make it part. We talked about this, in our planning session. That's your homework.
Yeah.
For the summer.
So let's back up. So this is fresh, hot off the press this morning. I wake up to a TikTok from Dr. Jackson that Howard's nursing school graduation was over capacity with half of I don't even know if half, I don't know, I'm making up that number, but most of the people who were planning to attend was locked outside. I like outside. And they were not
an hour in advance of the ceremony.
Yeah, and the fire department had to shut them down. Like, actually, if you go look on the clips, I'm assuming, I don't know, I guess it was the dean of the college. I'm assuming that was the dean. She had to make an announcement. I don't know if it was in the middle commencement or during, that the fire marshal, we're over capacity. The fire marshal shut us down, and she then had to give directions. I think they had to literally clear out because there was nothing they could do. So I hope the resolution is that they give these students, they find a new location, redo it over, and have this done again. And I don't know what's going on with commencement season. I'm not attending none of them. My godbrother's graduating. I'm just gonna meet him at the barbecue. He's actually graduating from my alma mater.
I went to my alma mater's commencement. My last Tougaloo baby, my last Tougaloo mentee graduated. I'm so proud of him. I'm giving him a shout out, Blaze Adams. Double major English and history. So we have a new registrar, and she started commencement early. And there were people still walking up because they knew they had 15 minutes. And we're outside.
So that was a distraction.
She started early. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with commencements these days. I think people are doing their own thing. I don't know if they have forgotten how to do one. I don't know what it is.
It's for various reasons now. Like, so it's not even, it's just like this, the Howard took me totally off guard. USD canceled, and now they're doing some fun Trojans weekend that they got to share the stadium with, because they did it last minute, and they got a part of the stadium, not all of it, to do this whole.
It's not the same.
Y'all can read about that. Columbia graduation is canceled.
Yeah.
Lamont, what is
Mark
his name?
Lamont Hill.
Mark Lamont Hill canceled his speech. I just saw another Black person cancel their speech at Xavier University. The Xavier, not Xavier. The Xavier University, Louisiana, in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
The students canceled their own commencement speaker. Firsthand. Her pro-Palestinian stance. She's the UN ambassador, and I had to check my knowledge that I'm pretty sure that she just got to vote the way her boss tell her to vote. So that ain't hers, but they canceled her. They ain't canceled commencement. They canceled her speech. So this is a lot of things going on at the end of the spring. I know if y'all are listening, you in the higher ed men, there's no teacher appreciation day. There's no faculty appreciation day. In fact, I am hosting a Black higher ed meetup for this fact in July 3rd. If you're in New Orleans, if you in around New Orleans, or if you're coming to Essence Fest, it's not connected because I don't want to be sued. But this is my ode to us,
right?
For us not getting celebrated because there is no higher ed appreciation day. I know y'all tired. It's the spring. It's great. barely in for everybody.
Monday,
I know y'all tired.
5:45. I'm at 4:45.
Yeah, I know y'all tired. This is a lot. This is a lot. Even if everything is going okay, you don't have student protests, y'all don't have commencement issues. I know y'all still going through a lot. I know what this feels like. So as we round out our podcast, we're gonna go into our if you were president, and we want because we know these issues are real, and we know that there's up and coming leaders. Even if you like at some point I was thrown in to be a VP in enrollment management at some point. I had no intention. It was not my contract, but at some point I found myself there. And especially if you're in an HBCU or you're at a university going through transition, you're going to find yourself in the hot seat and you don't even know, especially if you are a strong leader and a strong professional, you may find yourself in these type of things and you didn't ask for it. So we always want to bring about a practical professional development moment for you to reflect and think about what you may do before you actually get into the fire. So we came up with a little summer school work, not for the kids, not for the students, but for the leaders. What should you all be thinking about after you catch your spring, your breath after Memorial Day has set in? You come back to work. I know you're orienting the kids, you're orienting the students, you're trying to enroll them fast for the financial aid. Y'all trying to find them, you're trying to verify, you're trying to send award letters because that wasn't done 3 months ago. So I know all of this is going on, but what can they do proactively for us to not to repeat the kind of year we've had that they can take into their own hands? So what's the summer school courses and work? What should we be doing this summer?
They really, I think this summer they really need to be thinking about how to handle crisis and crisis leadership. Whether it's workshop, get your team some reading material, work on creating dialogue and discourse. That's what I said a few minutes ago. Like turn the discord into discourse, because you can have a controversial speaker, but you can also create. My job is not to make them feel comfortable. It's to educate them to deal with uncomfortable spaces. So choose your commencement speaker early. Don't wait till the last minute. If you find it is going to be, it's starting to be an issue, or when the issues come up, that you create spaces for conversation, safe spaces for conversation. That is your homework for me. Oh, and do your 990s. That's your homework in a sense, because we've got to learn how to get these students ready to go out in the world where they're not going to care. They're not going to be able to stomp their feet, or to even force the institution's hand all the time, because some institutions cannot be moved. They've got to learn how to voice their opinions. They've got to learn how to, without stomping their feet, they're not tantrums. They've got to learn how to voice their opinions, agree to disagree, and be okay with that. Everybody doesn't get what they want. There's only a piece of the pie. Budget. The other thing in that is to, if you need to bring your speaker in a week before to have some kind of conversations, because for some reason, I believe we're going to have the same problem again. And we've allowed council culture to take over our institutions. We have got to do a better job of preparing our students on how to think critically and think through it, accept it, a difference of opinion, and not make that about a character flaw. I don't have to agree with you all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it doesn't mean that I think that your character, like you're a bad person because I disagree with you. That's just not how we should be trying to train our students to think about these things. And so when you catch your breath, do some team building and how you're going to deal with confrontations and those kinds of things in crisis leadership early before it gets there. Because if you keep having these knee-jerk reactions, then they will have knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah.
So, in my Blanche Devereaux voice, it is unsouthern. You must. It's just unsouthern. Because our students are the reason why we're there, and so we have to be able to see a bigger picture. Canceling a commencement speaker, though, hey, that's their opinion, but bring her in early enough to have some conversations, because no one always has both sides. So if you're only seeing both sides, one side, you're not seeing it all to have a conversation, because when they go out there in the world, they're going to meet people on either side who are good people who have a difference of opinion. And so we have to teach them how to handle that. And we're not handling that well. Higher ed has not handled commencement season speakers well. There have been times where there's a controversial speaker. I think even when baby Bush was president, and a couple of students at a commencement when he was speaking stood up and turned their backs. It was peaceful. It was distracting a little bit, but hey, it didn't cancel commencement for everybody. So we got to. That's their homework as far as I'm concerned. Learn some crisis management. Don't make knee-jerk reactions. Have the conversations. The hard conversations are what changes the communities. That's how we're going to get to the next level of communication and leadership and all of the things that we want and say we want. But if we just, if we're not talking, then it's going to all go for naught.
Yeah. On my list of homework, like you said, update, I'm thinking what are we doing at either cabinet retreats, student affairs leadership retreat, academic affairs leadership retreats. I was about to say something else, but that was going to be remnant of where we came from. Encampments.
Lock-ins,
Yeah. So update crisis management plans. Like have a plan, like role play. What happens when our backs against the wall, and like it's the thinking fast and slow at the same time. You can do both. Like you can say, even give yourself some time before we make a comment, before we do the knee-jerk reactions, the people at the table who need their voices heard. This is what we need to do. Hey, if I call this crisis management leader, cabinet first. Cabinet, you got X number of hours or 24 hours to go back to your team, get the ideas, summarize, bring it back to the table. You go out, let's come back, get all the voices, make a decision, and practice that problem solving in the moment instead of this. But I don't think that there's enough. That's why we named this podcast Allegedly Higher. We are higher education. We are boastful in this critical thinking, but when it comes time for leadership to critically think and problem solve creatively, innovatively, and in an equitable fashion, we fail all the time. Like I see that there was so many ways to handle all of these things, and they may come out better than what I had in my mind. But I do think some role play in crisis management, problem solving, even some design thinking of how can we be proactive against certain things. I think some restorative circles need to happen between some factions on campus, whether it's a small test run with a few students who are nearby in the summer who have opposing views of all of the unrest.
A charrette.
Gosh, I'm gonna roll over that.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
I don't know who else would know that joke on our team. Oh my God.
A charrette.
Conflict resolution, like how to like having some sessions where people know how to handle it, with not just in all levels, whether you're a leader or not, like how to handle conflict. We don't handle conflict well at all. As human beings these days, we don't. And so having to practice that, whether it drips down from leadership top down, and also workshops and activism. So showing students how to really use their voice to get change, because they're going to need this now. It's the practice running in universities and colleges. It's a protected, safe space where you can do it as close to real as possible, but you have a safety net with constructive feedback and some consequences. So you're gonna need to like get zapped a little bit. Like you can't, it's not gonna be real world repercussions, but you need to know its consequences to everything. But you need to help show them how to voice it, because if you don't give them an outlet, they're gonna explode.
Right.
And it's not gonna be pretty.
That's what happens. Right. But a lot of that though, and I loved everything that you said, and I'm sure you had some more. But the thing is, presidents, chancellors, deans, do not make it punitive. Allow people space to say the weird thing, to say the uncomfortable thing, to get it out, because that's what they need to do in order for, even at our level, to be able to then trickle that down to our students. So if we don't have understanding, if we don't have safe spaces, if we don't know how to create that for each other, how do you expect to create that for students?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure if you don't have policy, go back and review the policy. Because I feel like all of the things that we've seen happen with peaceful protests, and you might have it. I can't assume. You may have it and not even adhere to it, or you may not even have it, and go back to the table. Do we need to revisit this? Is it new ways of protest and policy? Is it what's going to be our policy on canceling speech? Like what parameters? Because I think it was just done so quickly that there was no rhyme or reason except it ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. Like what's the real danger? What are our limits? What are our boundaries? What's the criteria for protest, and how far are we going to go? When are the police going to be called? What are our instructions to the police to help secure our campus? What are we going to tell them how to interact with our students? Like all of that needs to be pre-planned and prepared. That needs to be a yearly thing, because you don't know when stuff will pop off. But I think all of that needs to be done this summer, because I don't see this getting any better. The ceasefire treaties are always falling apart. Every time there's a headline of a possible treaty, it's gone. It's replaced by it fell apart. So I don't see this thing getting any better in the summer. I pray it is, that we see it end for the sake of lives and unrest. But we learned nothing from the Vietnam War.
Nothing. We've known nothing from the protest. And the other part of that is really not just that you can't cram it all in the summer, but you can definitely get started. And to make this cultural conversation in your leadership development, allow your people to go for trainings, for conferences, for workshops on how to do this. Make that a priority about changing your culture of discourse. Because if you don't, we're going to be back here in the spring. We're going to be back here in the fall. We're going to be back here again and again and learn the lessons that we did not learn during the conflict of the Vietnam conflict. We've got to be able to say we messed up. And higher ed is notorious because, we got our degrees and we know everything. See, I'm trying to be good. That we don't take the time to say we messed up. We didn't handle this right. And if we can't show our own frailties in that, then there's no reason for us to be here.
No, it's just, I don't even know. It ain't even education at that point. It ain't definitely high.
No, you already got too much grade inflation, so I won't even get on that.
That's another show.
That's a whole nother segment. But at least to have them, we're supposed to be teaching critical thinkers, global learners, all of that's in your mission statement. But we don't really practice it. We've got to start. That's why we are allegedly higher ed. Because we got to start practicing.
Hopefully, one day, maybe after, we can take the allegedly off when we start acting like it.
Ha!
I know. Well, folks, that was it for us. I don't know when you're listening. It could be on a Monday or Friday, but I do wish you a great week and a great weekend. We're certainly going to have it. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and watch us on YouTube. Share this. We see our numbers are climbing up. Leave us a message. Let us know that you're listening so that we can, we're doing this because we love it, but we also want to know what we can do to help you in this platform and to bring you what you need to do your jobs well. We have all but escaped higher ed. We're still in it. We still love the kids. We still love the mission. But for those of y'all who are still in the fight in these higher ed streets, we do want to be encouragement, uplifting, and helping you fight the good fight every day. So let us know. Send us some words of encouragement or bad words. We can take it. And as always, thank you for listening. Come back and join us next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. This episode was sponsored by Holistic Higher Ed Solutions, committed to enhancing student success. From coaching to planning, our practitioners empower institutions. Ready to transform? Visit holisticheredsolutions.com and let's revolutionize higher ed together. Be sure to subscribe, review, and join us next time.